So this Arabi asks him, says, now if you want to, have this analysis, do this test, how many times a year do we go to doctors to have like a full test of the body? Is it at least once a year? Twice a year? Once a year at least, right? So this Arabi says, okay, now I want to have a test, a divine test. Before they actually do a test on me, I want to have voluntary test, right? Remember, mutu qabla tamutu? So what should I do? The Abu Zar turns around and says it's simple. Take all of your deeds, you have the book of the Quran, right? Apply your deeds to the book of the Quran. See how much of your deeds goes according to the teaching of the Quran, and how much it goes to according to teaching of yourself, your brothers, your fathers, your culture, all of the stuff beside the Quran. Take a percentage, It's a simple math equation, right? I'm sure everybody can do it simply, right? Then you know how much of distance you have with the path of Sirat al-Mustaqim, for example. How would you be when the time comes, when Hazrat al-Malik al-Maut comes for you? Because Hazrat al-Malik al-Maut, we always talk about him, we talk about him in fear, but the reality, the essence of the death angel is nothing except, they say he works as a mirror, right? He actually shows the reality of the person to himself or to herself at the time of death, right? So that's why some people see him in a very scary and very I cannot imagine it, right? And some people know vice versa. They see him or they observe him as this very lightened man who's very good looking, good shape, right? So it's actually the reality of the person who's dying actually reflects itself in the essence of the Malakul Maut or death angel, right? So that's why we have narrations or we have true stories of people observing it in different forms, right? So the Abu Zar says it's simple. If you want to do that, just take all of your amal, take all of your deeds, and just apply it to the teachings of the Quran, right? Then once we do this, we come up to this two sense of lifestyle, right? A lifestyle based on desires, all the stuff I want, the minute I want, the second I want, I strive for it. We call this the animalistic life, right? Versus what we call it the Quranic lifestyle, or the humanistic lifestyle, right? In which is the higher step of life. I mean, think about it. If you just live in this world for 70, 80 years, and all we think is, for example, go to work on Monday through Friday, and then have a vacation on Saturday, Sunday, every so often go out on a vacation, right? On the month of Ramadan, the month of Muharram, come to the masjid, right? And then everything else is just work, 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 have fun on the weekend, right? This is not what we call life in Islamic terms, right? This is what we call existing. It's just we're there, right? We're just going around the same circle and circle and circle. يَعْلَمُونَ ظَاهِرًا مِنَ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. This is that zahir of hayat al-dunya, right? But mu'min looks at the bottom. Mu'min looks at the reality behind it. So every second, every minute, every hour becomes a real life for a mu'min. That's why mu'min never gets bored, never gets depressed, never loses hope, right? Because he's not dealing with the material factors, no. He's looking at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in every step that he or she takes, right? So this is the difference between the two, lifestyles. Now when we talk about this stuff, some people tend to go on the opposite extremes. They're going to say, well, if that's the case, I'm going to give up everything, right? I'm just going to go in the corner, right? I'm going to be completely ascetic from this world, and I'm not going to do anything from the tip of the morning to the end of the night. I'm just going to do zikr of Allah. Is this correct as well? You say no. It cannot be like this one. Why? Because this world has been created for a purpose, right? Actually, one of the Arabi, he comes and he was passing one of the Imams, and he starts cursing the world, the dunya, in front of the Imam. Right? He was all fed up with the dunya, so he starts cursing the dunya. He says, what a dunya it is, I wish, for my death right now, may Allah kill me right now. Right in front of Imam Ma'sum. Imam Ma'sum looks at him, he smiles at him, he says, what are you talking about? Right? This dunya is where you're supposed to gain whatever you're going to live with in the hereafter. If Allah takes your life right now, what do you have to take with you? Right? So he says, don't wish for your death, right? But rather wish for a life in the path of obedience of Allah. Live in this world, enjoy the bounties, right? That's what they're for, to enjoy them, but on the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's like Allah never tells us, see, don't touch, hear, don't listen. No. It tells us see, and then nafsi and the halal way, right? Or here, but here to the halal. Use the halal one, right? Put aside the haram. Why? Because the haram, the reality, you're hurting yourself. You don't want to hurt yourself constantly, right? You want to make sure that your spirit is in good shape as you're about to depart from this world, right? So take what you need from this world, right? But consider the next world as well. So that's why they talk about the topic of, for example, muraqabah. What's muraqabah? To keep yourself accountable, like be aware of yourself. Remember the example of the camera, right? Having multiple cameras, the cameras which actually will catch your intention, will actually catch your thoughts, right? So we have this on ourselves. And throughout the day, we have to constantly, watch over, out of all the deeds that we do per day, what percentage of those are for the sake of Allah? What percentage of those are for the sake of myself? What percentage of those are for the sake of Uncle Sam? What percentage of those are for the sake of my job? What percentage of those are for the sake of blah blah blah, right? So you can always have this calculation very easily, right? Always be on the tip of the toe in the matter of the journey that we have ahead of us, right? Because it's not something that's going to come out of the blue. One time, one person asked Amir al-Mu'mineen that, "Oh Ali, right? How come you work so much? You're constantly working, you're constantly giving away, you're constantly doing all this good stuff, right?" He said, "Amir al-Mu'mineen, isn't it enough? You had so much. When you look at your life, mashallah, you had all these accomplishments, right? Isn't it enough? Take a rest, take a break." What do you think Imam replies? He says, "If you can prove to me, or if you can guarantee me that a single act of mine has been accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I will give up everything, I will stop right at this moment." That's Amir al-Mu'mineen, with that sincerity, talking like this. So people like me, what do we have to do? Allahu A'lam, right? Commander of the believers, he says, if you can guarantee a single act of mine being accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I will give up everything that I would do right at this instant. So if I'm sitting here giving lectures, may Allah have mercy upon me as well, right? That's why in the qunut, a lot of times we recite, رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً, right? So they say, what is this hasana in the dunya, right? Because hasana in the akhirah, okay, we say hasana in the akhirah, if you want to make an example, it's a bad example, we can use it as a monetary system of the akhirah. In this dunya we use money as a means of transaction, like you do something, you do services, you get money in return, and you use the money to gain whatever you need, right? In the akhirah, everything is in terms of hasana, in a sense, right? So why does Allah say, رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيا حَسَنَةً, right? Wouldn't it be better to say رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيا أَمْوَالٍ, and then the akhirah hasana, right? To make then we have to go through the exchange rate and make the transfer, right? No, it says رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيا حَسَنَةً. They say this hasana is so general and so broad definition that includes every single thing that we actually gain in this dunya, all the bounties that we have, including the halal, the money or the halal income that we get in this dunya. But what makes it halal is to spend it on the halal way, right? It's not only a matter of gaining, it's a matter of putting it to use, right? If you just constantly be gaining and gaining and gaining, what's going to happen, right? You're going to have all of this, inshallah, made out of halal, but there is nothing, you have not actually gained anything out of it. And that's what they say is one of the signs of a halal income or halal rizq, is that it gets expended on the halal case as well. It comes and goes, it comes and goes. What elevates in this equation? Our own nafs, our own soul, right? So the soul has to grow up. Through what? All of this give and takes, right? So from halal to halal. Inshallah, not from haram to halal, right? Some people, they make the justification, you probably have all heard of it. There was this thief, right? He was saying, I would steal, for example, let's say 10 dirham, right? I would donate 2 dirham of that one, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala multiplies every hasanah that you do by 10 times. 2 times 10 is what? 20. So technically I'm giving 20 and I'm stealing 10. 20 minus 10, I will remain with 10 hasanah. MashaAllah, you had a good algebra, right? But does it work that way? No, it doesn't work that way. We cannot say just because we want to do something good, that gives us the excuse to go in any possible means possible. No. Through the halal way, apply it in the halal way. I'm not going to talk about getting from haram and spending on haram. That's, just out of the picture, and automatically, right? So there is a riwayah in Ma'ani al-Akhbar from Shaykh Ehsan, in which he narrates from Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wa salam, in which a companion comes up to Imam Sadiq and he tries to confirm something that he had heard from Abu Zar. He said that I heard that Abu Zar said this, that there are three things that people tend to dislike, but me, the Abu Zar, I like them. What are those three things? Number one, people do not like poverty, but I like them. People do not like, being sick, but I like actually being sick, right? And number three, people do not like death, but I, Abu Zar, like the topic of death. And Imam Sadiq turned around and says, no, this is not it's not a complete version of what Abu Zar was saying. Rather, Abu Zar was saying, people do not like, for example, the matter of being sick, but me, Abu Zar, I like being sick on the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala versus being healthy on the path of shaitan, right? People do not like to be poor, but me, Abu Zar, I like to be poor on the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, on the path of obedience, versus being rich and wealthy and well off on the path of disobedience and haram, right? People do not like death. Again, why? Because they have worked so much for what they have gained in the world, in this dunya, on the path of evil. But me, Abu Dhar, I like and I actually love death because I know it's just a step that will get me closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? And that's what Imam Sadiq teaches us, that living in this dunya comes with all of those responsibilities. And that's one of the du'as that you always have to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That despite of the situation that we're put in, circumstances that we're put in, we always follow the path of Sirat al-Mustaqim. Nothing else. If you go for anything else, we indeed, and in fact, we have lost, right? Even if it's 1 second, if it's in 1 minute, right? And that's the whole beauty of repentance, right? Again, think about the topic of repentance. What is repentance? Repentance is making back or making up whatever you have made a mistake, right? Going back to that, original us, going back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Trying to make up whatever we have lost, right? Which of the banks in the monetary system, gives you that option? If you make an investment and if you make a bad investment, does any of the bank actually gives you a second chance? Okay, you repent, I'll give you all of your money back? No? Doesn't? So maybe inshallah one day one of those banks will come about, right? No, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's system is completely different. No matter how much mistakes we do, He still keeps our investment and He gives us more time, tells us to come back, right? One of the perfect times of going back to Him is during the month of Ramadan. I think I mentioned this on the first night. One thing common in all of the du'as is asking for maghfirah, asking for forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? During this month. Recite salawat. And we have so many cases in terms of valid narrations and valid stories from our ulamas, right, in which they come in interaction with the spiritual realm and the spiritual beings. Because a lot of times the common question, the common criticism that is raised is oh, I wish I would have seen something, right, from the hereafter. Then I would have guaranteed that I would not make or conduct a simple or single mistake, right? Usually this justification comes about when we talk about the topic of religion. They say, if I had only seen one slightly of the heaven and hell, if I had only seen, one angel, if I had seen only one huri, right, I would guarantee by my life that I would never do a sinful act, right? What's the answer to that one? It's if that happens, right, the amount of responsibility that falls upon our shoulder, right, raises as well. The one who does not see the hereafter yet have faith in it, right, that's one case, versus the one who sees the hereafter and has faith in it. Actually, it doesn't make sense for the second case because he's seeing it. If he's seeing it, having faith in it doesn't have the meaning of having faith, right? One of the characteristics of muttaqin in Surah Baqarah, الَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ, right? If ghaib is seen, ghaib is unseen in English, right? But if you change the ghaib to zahir, if ghaib becomes seen, what's the meaning of yu'minun? For the zahir, you don't need to have faith, you see it. It's there, it's clear, right? الَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ. And that's the beauty of it. That's the art about it, right? They do not see it, but they put the trust in the teachings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? So this, question, and it's not only for us, no, the previous nations, they all ask a similar question, right? That only if we see the hereafter, then we believe in the teachings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In a thorough version of it, everything we see in this universe, especially our own selves, if you get a little bit thorough about it, they're all signs of the hereafter, everything that we can actually put our finger on, right? So it's just a matter of, again, contemplation and thinking about how are all of this working at the same time, right? And we do not see any disruption between the order of the universe as we speak of. For example, that's one of the simple ways, right? One of the best ways is actually have to contemplate on our own self, right? They always talk about this one, that we are living, right? And we tend to think that we have free will and everything, we have these choice. Yes, it's there, but there's a lot of stuff even within ourselves that we have absolutely no choice over it, and they're constantly working, they're functioning as we speak of, right? So in scientific ways, we have found a lot of discoveries in how they are working.